This week's Torah portion is the portion called Korach. And Korach was known for his ability to create strife and to challenge the leadership of Moshe Rabbeinu. It is well known that the Torah looks unfavorably upon Korach. And yet, Korach's argument seems to be a legitimate argument. Korach argues that it is inappropriate for a particular sect to be the only ones chosen to do the service in the temple. After all, aren't all Jews holy? And by corollary, you could also take the same argument and express wonderment and disdain over the concept of an Am HaNivchar, a chosen people. One could say, what are the Jews so proud of, that they are the only ones who have a connection to God? And both questions have an answer. But before I address that question, because both questions are really one, I want to address the whole nature of Korach. How is it that Korach began his career as a rabble-rouser and a strife-maker to challenge the leadership of the very individual who took us out of Egypt and brought us to Mount Sinai? And at Mount Sinai, I want you to understand that this was an incredible experience. But what was the experience itself? I want you to hear this. The experience was that we heard and saw how Moses was told to go into the cloud, and God told Moses, 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 go tell them, I am the Lord your God. We heard God saying those words to Moses to tell us those words. Now, there are many people who misunderstand what this means. What this means, of course, is not that once we had heard it, we needed to hear it once again from Moses. Now, that doesn't make sense. Of course, Moses did repeat the 10 Commandments, but we say Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah comes to 611 in numerology, in numbers. The value of the numbers of the letters that spell out Torah are 611. But we received 613 commandments. Why only 611 did we receive from Moshe? Because the first two we heard from God. And yet, in the prophecy of I am the Lord your God, we heard how God said to Moses, go tell them. What does this really mean? It means that we were elevated to be together with Moses. We were sort of like Moses' body, receiving the revelation that Moses was about to receive. In other words, we heard and we experienced how this prophecy was going to Moses for our sake. That's what happened. We became part of Moses' soul because we are part of Moses' soul. And we experienced together with Moses, with Moshe, that which Moshe heard from God. So now, ask yourself, you heard that the communication to you comes through Moses. How can it be that a man like Korach would then challenge Moshe Rabbeinu, challenge Moses? And the answer is that he believed that Moses was on a high level at that moment, but afterwards Moses fell into the sin of becoming self-centered. And when you become self-centered, you begin to err. Why did he accuse Moshe Rabbeinu of being self-centered? Because Korach was self-centered. The reason why Korach accused Moshe of creating divisiveness is because he himself was a divisive person. Korach was a person that was unhappy. Unhappy people like to make problems for other people. That makes them feel good temporarily because it makes them feel superior. If you're unhappy with yourself, by being superior to somebody else, somehow or other, in a warped mind, that will make you feel good, that you're better than the other person, and therefore you can go ahead and criticize and put the other person down. And a person who is so self-focused and so much into themselves that they're willing to not only argue with other people who are their peers, but even people who are greater than them, that is the nature of a person like Korach.